Hello and welcome everyone. In this session, I'm going to discuss about the second unit of MMPC 16, and the name of this unit is Globalization and Evolving Paradigm. Okay, as you can see on your screen, that is written Unit 2. The first thing which we are going to discuss, that is the concept and meaning of globalization. So globalization can be defined as the global spread of production and trade which is supported by technology, unrestricted mobility of capital and labor. Okay, so what is globalization? That can be defined as the global spread of production and trade. So what is this? Globalization, global spread of production and trade which is supported by the technology, unrestricted mobility of capital and labor. So this involves the interconnection of countries economically and culturally. So the result of globalization has been the coming together of disparate cultures, political systems and patterns of economic development. So 2.3, that is evolution of globalization. So various stages are there in the process of globalization. The first stage, that is started in 1830, that is growth of global business due to development of railroads, ocean transport and large scale manufacturing and trading companies. That is the first stage. Then in the second stage started around 1900, or you can say 1900. That is increase in the electricity. It is characterized as the increase in electricity and steel production, colonization of Asia, Middle East and Africa. So that's what happened in the second stage of globalization. Then we have the third stage of globalization. So third stage of globalization, it is around 1945, after World War II. Okay, that started around 1945 after World War II. Developed countries wished to lessen the barriers to international trade, and this lessening of the barriers to international trade leads to Bretton Woods Conference of 1947. So developed countries wish to lessen the barriers to international trade, and when they wish to lessen the barriers to international trade, then that leads to Bretton Woods, that caused those developed countries to come together, and that leads to Bretton Woods Conference of 1947, in which 23 countries participated, and there it was the setting up of GATT, that is General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade. This further leads to, so this GATT means General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, further leads to World Trade Organization to regulate the exchange. So this World Trade Organization, it regulates the exchange in the world trading system. Then we have the fourth stage of globalization, that is characterized by increasing use of computer, internet, development of information and communication technology. Newer and smarter technologies are enabling the industrial production, that is Industrial Revolution 4.0. So next you have 2.4, that is the evolving paradigm of globalization. So what is this evolving paradigm of globalization? A large number of developing countries in Asia, Africa and Latin America are propagating the inward-looking policies as they realize that the benefits of globalization are unevenly distributed in hands of selected countries. It means here the countries, or you can say developing countries in Asia, Africa and Latin America realized that the benefits of globalization were unevenly distributed, and the benefits were in the hands of selected countries. It means some selected countries were getting the benefits of globalization. So that's why they propagated the inward looking policies. So inward looking policies, what is this? So now move on to the next, that is gated globalization. So what happens in gated globalization? So gated globalization will discourage free global competition and free movement of capital in a most competitive market, but will move to select selective markets for selective trade gains. Okay, so it means in case of gated globalization, there it is the some kind of gate is involved through which the trade should pass, and countries, some countries in the world are trying to stop some kind of trading, or you can say some kind of trading, it is being stopped with some country, and it is favored with the other kind of countries. So that's why here given gated globalization will discourage free global competition and free movement of capital in a most competitive market, but will move to selective markets for selective trade gains. Okay, then you have reglobalization. So what happens in reglobalization? Reglobalization here I'm talking about. So reglobalization calls for making future investment and industrial expansion in countries which are equally competitive or will be competitive, or or you can say an attractive consumer markets in near future. So it means the investment, it is being diverted in those countries which are equally competitive but more attractive in terms of market. So that's here it happens in the reglobalization. It means if there it is the change in the market, I can say if any market it is more attractive, then the resources are diverted towards that marketplace. So that's what happens in case of reglobalization. And one more thing you have to consider here, that here the industrial expansion. So here what happened, future investment and industrial expansion in countries which are equally competitive. Okay, so Indian policy choices given here. Indian policy choices: globalization, reglobalization, and gated globalization. So what are different choices are there, and which one it is more preferable to the Indian companies? So that's what we are going to consider here. So here India's MSMEs always demand protection from foreign competition, whereas the more efficient MNCs, multinational corporations, advocate the open, non-discriminatory and transparent trade policies. Indian policymakers and firms should make the case for regionalized supply chains that are networked, interconnected to China but are not dependent on China. It means here we can say that in India's MSMEs demand here for the protection of foreign competition, but the multinational corporations of India want free, non-discriminatory trade policies. So that is the difference in the perspective of MSMEs and multinational corporations. So Indian policymakers here from should make the case for regionalized supply chains, so that there should be very well developed networks, but that should not be dependent on China only for different kinds of goods and services. Means there should be change in the dependency. Effects of globalization. What are different effects of globalization given here? Integration of economies, greater interdependence among countries. What here given? Effects of globalization, integration of economies. So due to globalization, there it is greater interdependence among countries. So second effect of globalization given, integration of a strategy. What given? Integration of a strategy. Third given here, integration of industries. What given third? Integration of industries. So as you can see, industries, integration of production activity and distribution. So that's what happens in case of integration of industries. Fourth effects of globalization, that is integration of markets. Means globalization leads to lowering of tariff and non-tariff barriers. So whenever there it is a lower barrier, then the market will be quite open, so that will attract the producers all over the world. Next you have drivers of globalization for an industry. drivers of globalization for an industry. So four groups of drivers of globalizations are given here. So the first given, market drivers. So market drivers are convergence of lifestyle and tastes, increased travel, growth of global channels. So these all factors, it's like market drivers are convergence, lifestyle and taste. It means the people all over the world have tastes, or you can say there it is the shift of lifestyle and taste, similar to each other at the world level. So that is the first thing. Second thing, it is given increased travel. It means people all over the world are traveling much more compared to what they used to do earlier. So this is due to decreased cost of transportation. Third, then after given, growth of global channels, and there are multiple channels through which goods and services can be transported. Then you have the cost or economic drivers. So economic drivers here given, economics of scale given, advances in transportation, technological innovation, etc. So what given, the cost or economic drivers. So what are those cost and economic drivers? So economics of scale. Okay, what given, economics of scale. So economics of scale means when producers produce any good at large scale, then the cost for production, it decreases. Then advances in transportation. So when we transport a large amount of goods, then it will cost less per unit. So then technological innovation also. So market drivers, cost or economic drivers. Then you have government drivers. So reduction of tariff barriers, creation of trading blocks, etc. So these are government drivers which drives globalization. Then you have next competitive drivers, increase in the level of world trade, increase in foreign acquisition, global strategic alliances. So these are competitive drivers for globalization. So factors affecting a company's ability to formulate and implement global strategy. So what are those factors which affect a company's ability to formulate and implement a global strategy? The first thing that is given, organization structure. What is given there? Organization structure, management process, people and culture. So here the factors affecting companies' ability to formulate and implement global strategy, that is organization structure, management process, people and culture. So these all factors affect companies' ability to formulate and implement global strategy. So people means here human resource. Then next we have strategic strategic implications of globalization. What are strategic implications of globalization? International alliance. So here I have left AL here, it should be also okay. International alliance means companies enter into alliances with similar kind of firms. Okay, means the firms who are similar in their business form, you can say international alliance for the purpose of manufacturing, sourcing and marketing, etc. Second strategic implication of globalization given, organizational challenges, need to configure and coordinate globally. Okay, it means companies should configure itself in such a way so that there will be better coordination and better process. Then you have the third one, that is relation with the government. Selection of the foreign market depend on the negotiations with the foreign government. Okay, if the company is able to negotiate with the foreign government in a better way, then that it will be beneficial for the company. Then the fourth given, that is the competition, that is compete with global rivals. So these are the strategic implications. So the fourth one, it is competition, compete with the global rivals. Here, in case of globalized world, there it is need to compete with the global rivals. Then we have the forces affecting global integration. What are different forces affecting global integration? So the first force that affect global integration, that is driving force. What is given here? Driving force. So driving force is the first, the technology. So technology, culture, market needs, costs, free markets, economic integration, peace, strategic intent, global strategy and action. So these all are driving forces for global integration. And second, it is given restraining forces. So means the forces which restrain the global integration. So here given culture, market differences, costs, nationalism, war, management, myopia, domestic forces. Okay, so these are restraining forces which affect global integration. I think that's over. So this is the end of second unit. If you have any kind of doubt or any kind of question, please write to me. I will definitely try to solve your problem. I will try to give your all questions answer. So thank you.